Hey everyone, listen, I have a special guest today. This is Tim Payne, and listen, he's basically a veteran. I don't know what year, it was 2013?
11.
2011, okay? He was actually in Afghanistan and stepped on a mine. Actually, it was an IED.
30-pound IED.
Gosh. And basically, it blew up. He landed into it, he blew up 10 feet or something?
I tell people I'm a lucky bottle. So you throw a bottle up in the air and sometimes 1 in a million chances it lands directly on the top or directly on the bottom of the top, and nothing spills. So I got blown up and I landed right in the crater head first. And my legs were up in the air.
No.
Yeah.
In a tree?
Well, I was in the ground,
yeah.
But my legs were up in the air and the guys just got on top of me, just started ran, just going to town.
So basically, yeah, he lost both legs. And so anyway, I wanted just to do a video on this because he also is doing keto. And but first I want to just talk about his story. You used to play with G.I. Joes. That's what we have in common,
Duke,
right?
All the way.
I
Duke.
know.
Yeah.
You probably, no, you don't still do it. But so the point is you got into the military after 9/11, right? You got in there, Army, airborne, you did training, and then you basically, tell us a little bit about what happened at that point.
Okay, so 9/11 happened. I'm going to go fight for my country. Nobody comes and attacks our backyard. Nope, not on my watch. I'm from New York. Sorry, buddy, I'm going in. So airborne infantry, then I tried out for Army Rangers, got hurt. But being from New York, we just keep on going back, right?
Right. How many times did you do
4 times and never made it.
Oh, God.
And you know what
Glutton
else?
for punishment.
I'm from Niagara Falls, right? Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
They went to the Super Bowl 4 times in a row and lost. I tried out for Special Forces 4 times, never made it.
What? What
And
a
that doesn't
coincidence.
fall far from the tree.
That is interesting.
I know, right?
That is fascinating. Wow. So I was, I remember in high school I had a recruiter come to my house and he said, hey, you want to join the military? And I'm like, oh yeah, I want to shoot grenades. I want to do this. So I signed up, went to Fort Jackson, South Carolina, and then I went to Fort Sam and became a medic, and then and an X-ray tech, and so I did that for 5.5 years, but it was reserve, so there was nothing really happening back then in the early '80s.
Still service.
Yeah, it was a great experience. So have a little common thread there. So tell us what happened at that point. You
Wait a second. Were you a sergeant? Were you an officer?
No, I was not. At that time, they didn't enlist chiropractors.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was just going through chiropractic college at the time, so I wasn't quite graduated, so I couldn't quite do that anyway.
Sure.
But the cool part was every 2 weeks you'd go on-the-job training, right? And they knew I was in school, so at that point, they pulled me right into the hospital.
Yeah.
And I was working on patients, and I didn't even have my license yet. I'd work on people, and they were like, wow, that really felt great, because I started teaching in school. I was teaching students how to manipulate, adjust people. So I did that for a while, and they were really pissed off in the other division because I was supposed to do the medic training stuff, and I got pulled into I started hanging out with the officers and playing tennis with the commander and the whole thing.
That's awesome.
So that was fun.
That happened to me.
Did it really?
Yeah, so I tried out for Special Forces all these times. I didn't make it, so I got reassigned to different jobs, right? And I got moved to this job called Personnel Recovery Missions, and then I was working in a nuclear missile silo in Italy.
What?
Doing this job where it's supposed to be a chief warrant officer 4 or 5. That's like the highest ranking of chief warrant officers.
Right.
And then an officer of a major or above. That's a field grade position. I was a staff sergeant going to this school for program management and directing, and then I go back to Italy, and then that's when Captain Phillips is going down. The whole thing with the Somali pirates and the Moses and stuff. Yeah, so I'm then years later I get blown up, and then I see a commercial whoa, movie. Whoa, I was part of that.
You were part of that.
That's pretty cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah. And so it's the hey you. They're like, hey, you're going to do this. Hey, you're going to do this.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So give me a little background before this happened. You were basically over in Afghanistan, and then you were basically, this is the third time or second time?
Third time.
Third time?
So, yeah, I was infantry squad leader. Was leading guys on patrols. After 4 months of fighting, our unit became combat ineffective, meaning that we couldn't go on patrols anymore. We lost too many people. So crazy.
Dangerous because of the mines that were.
Yeah, 4 or 5 IEDs a day we would find, and we have minesweepers, and we would still have guys getting blown up. The Taliban got so clever, they started developing IEDs with non-metallic initiation devices, so you cannot pick them up. Yeah,
No, that's so dirty. That is terrible.
they're pretty slick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're going out this last time, and did you have any warning or anything or any knowledge or?
I definitely had a weird feeling, like a weird premonition. Like there's something that was like, there's something definitely not right. And then
Were you by yourself?
No, I was with my squad. I was walking the line to make sure they were in the right positions.
Yeah.
And then it was the third walk back. That's when I just hit.
By yourself or with the group?
I was by myself just to make sure my guys were in the right places. And then that's when I got blown up.
So what was this? Was it just like a massive confusion, like right away, like what's happening?
It was so crazy. I remember everything.
You do?
I was so fit back then. I was like 6 feet tall, 245 pounds, bench around 400 pounds, like super tough. Right?
Bench 400 pounds.
Almost, yeah. Bench almost. That's like a max. Yeah.
Wow.
So when I got blown up, I knew exactly what happened. And I'm like landing. I'm like, oh, I got blown up. I'm trying to sit up, and I was like looking through my arm, and I could just see like the bones.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I'm like, that's not right. No pain. All the nerve endings completely gone.
No
So I didn't feel anything, and I'm like, that's so surreal.
Is blood coming out?
No, it was on my arm. It was like more charred.
Okay.
But my legs, it was really bad. I had femoral bleeding, and it was shooting all over the place. And I don't think people really want to go into detail with all that stuff. Yeah, yeah. It's pretty graphic. It's in the book.
It was bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, this book right here. I'm going to put a link down below. So basically, you're laying there. Obviously, they came and probably put a tourniquet or something to stop
8 tourniquets.
8 tourniquets.
And then the guy slid his hand inside of my abdomen to pack it with combat gauze, stuff called quick clot. And then they picked me up, and because of the explosion, it split my pelvis open like by 5 centimeters, so I could feel everything moving when they were.
Oh my God.
Man, you want to talk about some pain? My last name is Payne. T-Payne.
Yeah. Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, because you're like, oh my God, I can't even imagine. So then, so at that point, did anything happen with your face or your chest?
No. I was so fortunate.
So just kind of.
I watched.
impact.
I was looking at the ground, and I'm like, my arm was all like this. That's why my arm got like the brunt of the blast. I was camouflaging a wire because we were setting up a claymore mine. It's an anti-personnel mine to cover our flank. So if the enemy were going to attack us.
So you were dismantling a claymore mine.
We were setting it up.
Or you're setting it up.
We're setting it up. Yeah. So we were taking ICOM chatter, which means that we were intercepting radio transmissions from the Taliban, and they were like, "We see the Americans. We're coming in to attack." And we're like, all right, guys, let's get ready. And so we set up like our main fields of fire, and then we want to have our flanks covered. And so we put this anti-personnel mine. But at the same time, we were killing dudes the day prior, and we were trying to blow up trees to kind of like destroy the dead space so they couldn't come and attack our base. And that was the last patrol. So I think they knew what we were going to do. So the night prior, they went out there and buried a bomb. And when I was walking back and forth, there he is. Blew me up.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Was the force just like this incredible pressure? This pushed you up?
Yeah, it was. Wow. It happened so fast.
Yeah.
I went up and on the ground, and I knew exactly what happened because I saw the flash. I could feel the pressure, but there was no pain. It was really surreal. Only when they started moving me, that's when it really
when
started.
You felt the pain.
Coming in. Yeah.
And then at that point, they brought you to the hospital. Then how many surgeries did you have?
Okay, so it was, I counted up. So it was 7 days worth of procedures, but some of the days it'd be 5 separate procedures, and that'd be like a daily routine for about 70 days. So
7 days. So they had to put you under, or was it local?
2 weeks medical comatose.
What?
And then they were giving me ketamine, and I was waking up from this ketamine like state, and I was yelling at them like, "Stop, give me ketamine!" And they're like, "How do you know we're giving you ketamine?" And I was like, I was like, I wasn't always a saint. So basically, they stopped, and then I started. Long story short, they're like, "Hey, if you want to heal, it's the mind, the body, and the spirit." And it was the first year was all the bodily surgeries. And then the mental part was just getting off all the medications that were clouding my mind.
Yeah.
And then the whole spiritual side of just like living by these Army values, find faith and just move out with it.
Wow. So you're on these medications, and obviously it's just messing up your focus and your brain. Probably some psychiatric drugs, I would imagine, many.
Yeah, so they had me on like 3 or 4 different types of antidepressants and then antipsychotics also. And I asked them, like, why are you giving this to me? And they're like, well, we want to be proactive. Those were verbatim words. We're being proactive. And I was like, I don't feel depressed.
Wow.
Yeah.
Until you probably started taking them.
Right.
My God. So you had major probably rehab, the whole thing. Did you get depressed at that time from this situation?
So after I retired, I took the step back and really started writing down everything I went through. And I just realized that when I started weaning myself off the medications, that's when I became suicidal. Mm-hmm. And I didn't want to live anymore. And I started dwelling on my failures. Mm-hmm. And then that's where adaptive sports and peer-to-peer mentorship really came in, where guys were like, keep on going, come on, let's keep on doing this. And it was a huge motivation, where it's, the whole support network really comes into play at that point. Yeah. Yeah.
So then these other guys are competing in sports and things, and at that time you're probably in bed for I don't know how long. I mean, or not physically, you probably lost some of your strength,
Oh man.
Out of it.
I was like 245 pounds of just like pure lean, mean fighting machine, down to nothing. I looked like a Holocaust patient, because like when I woke up, I was looking at like what happened? And the doctor's like, your whole body absorbed everything for you to live.
Got it.
He's like, you're lucky to be alive, man.
Interesting.
Yeah, and then it took about a year, and I just got extremely obese.
Really?
Extremely obese. I was like 200 pounds, no legs. My other wheelchair was I think it was like 34 inches wide. It was huge, just from the seat part, not with the wheels. And then my doctors just kept on getting prescribed more and more and more medications.
Wow.
And then it got to the point where I was like, I'm done with this.
That's it. So there was something that just clicked. It's like, that's it.
Epiphany,
I'm done.
Yeah. And then that's when I was like, I forgot who I was. I was like, I was a paratrooper. I was like, I'm going back on my old mentality. Doing this right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Awesome. So then you started to, start searching stuff on the net, YouTube and stuff, and you stumbled on keto.
Yeah. So it was all about eating clean. It started with non-GMO foods. Like so that's why I learned eating clean, and then I started like, okay, so how can I get better at eating clean? And then that's where it's like, okay, get rid of the shit, get rid of all the processed carbs, more vegetables, cleaner meats. I cut pork out, started eating chicken, fish, not as much beef and stuff as I used to, but it's I try to eat lighter foods, lighter on the digestive system, and just be, I want to be a lean, mean fight machine rolling on wheels. Because
that's normally when you go to the mess hall, that's what they have, is high quality food that you're eating. No, I'm just kidding. They have a lot of carbs, right? A lot of carbs.
Yeah, a lot of carbs.
So you started to eat healthy, and then did you see this thing keto? Like, what is keto? What's this keto thing?
Well, yeah. I was turned on to it. I saw these guys super ripped, and I was like, man, I'm so chunky. I was like, I hate this. And then there was like that keto crash where you had to just get through it, and then you're in it. That was the biggest struggle right there.
Yeah, when you're adapting to fat burning, you're like, and so you had to adapt, and then you started doing it. You got some benefit, and then what happened mentally? Did you actually have more energy mentally?
I was on fire. I was doing training for acting. I was performing in front of people. I was doing speaking engagements. I was traveling all over the country. And then you know what happened? The holidays, cookies, turkey.
Yeah.
What's that? That
tryptophan?
Yeah, that's it. That's it put me to sleep for about 6 months.
Interesting. Well, it's so funny for those of you that are watching. Tryptophan. What makes you tired during Thanksgiving is actually it's not the tryptophan.
Okay.
It's a combination of the protein and the starch and the sugar, all that stuff. You're going to spike insulin, and you're just going to go out.
That's one thing I totally pay attention to, is like some of the foods that I eat, I've noticed that my body would just get really hot, kind of like it can really quickly. And I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to eat these foods. And I started eating more greens, and I'm like kind of noticed a trend. And then the apple cider vinegar with a little bit of lemon juice, the volcano lemon juice stuff. Awesome, man.
It's good, isn't it?
Yeah, love it.
So that helped you. And then so you started eating healthy, and then you started to compete. And you actually had some serious successful success. You had like a gold medal in different competitions. What type of sports are they? Like swimming, races around a track, or what do you do?
So we have hand cycles.
Okay.
We have swimming. We have field events. We have track events. There's archery. There's even like a air rifle type of thing. The Invictus Foundation, they have like they had sailing in Australia. So there's a whole smorgasbord of different Paralympic style events. I did swimming, hand cycling, seated discus, and then the shot put.
Incredible.
Yeah.
So to build up your cardio with swimming, I could imagine like it's all upper body. You're gonna have some serious lung action going on. That's like
Oh man. Yeah. But the hand cranking.
Yeah.
That thing is awesome.
Oh,
I love it.
I could imagine. That's
Yeah.
So so you started doing that. Now that's what you do. Like you compete like all over the world or other countries.
Okay. So there's a couple organizations. Achilles Freedom Team. They take the guys that got blown up to different marathons around the country. And then Team Simplify is another organization that does the same exact thing, but we also have training camps and then also other sporting events that they help provide. And then the organization helps get us the adaptive equipment that we need so that we can go and do these things.
Awesome.
Amazing organization. They're like the underdog that's really running the show of like providing stuff for a lot of these adaptive athletes right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
So now, what happens when you're doing these high intense type activities and you're on keto? You mentioned this already before. Let's just kind of talk about it. You don't quite have the endurance, or you don't have. Okay.
Yeah. So I would have an amazing workout. I feel really good, but it'd be shorter, and I would only have to do it 3 times a week. But my energy wasn't like because before when I was eating carbs, eating all this other food, I could just go and go and go, but then I would crash later and just be completely like done for like, I don't know, a long period of time. But then I can just continue to work out every single day. But I don't know, I just need to fine tune my diet a little bit more, I think. I'm still figuring it out.
Okay, so there's a couple things I want to bring up just on that point, just to help you. So what you have going on is you have the mitochondria. That's the energy factory. That's where all your energy is produced. So you have the food that goes in there, and then it converts to your energy, which is called ATP. It's your energy currency of your body.
Right.
Now you've adapted to keto, and then all of a sudden you do the same thing, and then you might kind of like putter out a little bit. The spark plug that helps ignite the fuel, especially the fat fuel, is vitamin B1 and magnesium.
Magnesium. Okay.
So I have something that's called mitochondrial support. I'm going to actually send you some.
Sweet.
I wish I had it here. I may have it here. I'm going to send you some, and then I want to actually see how it helps your energy.
Okay.
Because your fatigue could be coming from, you just need a little bit more spark plug to ignite this fuel a little bit more. Especially since you're running on fat, like why isn't it being burned? Is it a spark plug problem? What happens, sometimes you have to add more, different types of fuel, but it's kind of an unknown territory right now. With more time, we'll know more about certain types of athletes and performance. However, there are quite a few high-intensity athletes that are really strict, and they finally got their bodies to burn the fat. But if you're kind of doing it sort of, and you're not consistent, and I don't know if that's your situation, but you will find that, like even if you go off of it once a month, it's like it's really hard to get into it.
That's what it is. It's those cheat days.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, because it's like your body will then start going back to this other way. Like, wait a second. So, and you might think it might be a little thing, but it can last a long time. So, especially if you're even cheating like once a week, you're pretty much never going to fully burn fat.
That just reminded me because now I'm seeing it because I was on keto for a while, and then I had that break from the holidays, and then I finally got back on it. I remember when I was traveling and just riding the marathons, I was the only keto, nothing else. And then I was going nonstop on the marathons. So that's what it is.
Yeah.
And then you just brought it. Yeah.
Totally.
All right.
Yeah, I think that
I'm a cheater.
I think you'll have you're a cheater.
I need to stop cheating.
Yeah, exactly. The thing is like I think you'll have the unfair advantage. Of course, hopefully none of your competitors are watching this right now. But if you could run on fat fuel only, you'll actually, fat fuel is very different. It has more than double the energy. So you could basically, it's more efficient fuel. So these guys running on glucose, they're going to run out of gas so fast, and they're going to hit this wall, and you're going to have a buildup of lactic acid. So I think you could actually just have better endurance if you actually do that. And then maybe like when you're off season, maybe if you wanted to do a cheat day, but when you're in training, like if you just stay hardcore, you'll be really you'll be good.
Yeah. I'm actually, I was telling you before about it, but I'm starting a new training regimen next week on Monday with a trainer, and we're mapping out a whole plan, and we're going to document it too.
Oh, that's going to be awesome.
So it's going to be bodybuilding, more bodybuilding.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Awesome. And then you also brought up another point that I think is a common problem when you do intermittent fasting. So here you are, like, you want to compete, but you feel better when you don't eat, I think, than when you eat. I don't know what you mentioned something about that.
It's like I'm never really hungry. I mean, I can just
Right.
And then I'm like, okay, well, I know I need to eat a lot of vegetables. So I'll like go to Whole Foods and just huge mountain of vegetables.
Wow.
And then
now, do you feel better or worse when you eat?
Oh, I feel great. Well, actually, I can get a little tired a little bit afterwards.
Yeah.
And then, but I'll feel better probably about an hour later.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I know. It's kind of weird. Like, once you get into this, it's like this whole food thing is like, wow, now I ate it. Now I was feeling good if I didn't eat, but eventually you got to eat, Right. And then have you found that your muscle density, or are you trying to bulk up with muscle, or is that not an issue?
I just feel great. I feel great all the time. Everyone's like, dude, what are you doing? I'm like, well, I work out less, I eat less, and I'm just, I'm staying productive. And they're like, how are you doing? I'm like, well, it's ketosis. And they're like, you gotta watch Eric Berg on YouTube.
There you go.
Go on that guy. Check that guy out. I'm like, I'm gonna be on the show.
That's cool.
I know, right?
Awesome. Yeah, that's great. So for those of you that are athletes, the secret is just to stay consistent. That's one thing. And then the B1, magnesium is another little tip there, and that will help you, especially if you drink coffee or tea, whatever, you need a little bit more B1. And the more carbs that you consume, if you don't do B1, you're not going to have that endurance. So B1 will also help your cognitive function, your endurance. And then let me just take a call here from Mila from the Netherlands. He's been waiting for 19 minutes. Are you there? Sorry.
Yes, I'm here.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Hi. Yes, I'm from the Netherlands. Yes. So I have a pretty short question, actually. It's about your trace minerals. So I've been prescribed trace minerals from the brand Concentrates, which are salt-based minerals. But I would like to switch to your minerals because they're plant-based and therefore more bioavailable. But I would like to know if there's any information about the amount of any of those trace minerals that's present in, let's say, one serving.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think if you go to my site, there's an FAQ on there that you can see the amount of trace minerals. Trace minerals are minerals needed in smaller amounts, and like selenium, iodine versus calcium, magnesium, things like that. But if you're taking a plant-based mineral, a plant basically reaches down with the roots, pulls up the mineral, the rocks, and converts into a plant-based mineral. So the type of minerals that I have are prehistoric. They're actually 70 million years old. Yeah. Take it from the earth, a layer of the earth where they had all this prehistoric plant food back then, and that's where I get the minerals. And so they're very easy to digest. They're 15,000 times smaller than regular minerals, so they go in 100% versus some of the other minerals. How much do you need? You don't need much. Maybe a half a dropper full per day. That's all you need. But you may not feel energy from them. They're more for enzymes and to supply enzymes to make protein. So your nails, your hair, your skin, your muscles, In fact, if a pregnant woman is deficient in a trace mineral, that future child is going to have so many problems structurally with their spine. They might have abnormal scoliosis, flat feet, teeth problems, they're overbite, underbite. So we need these trace minerals for proteins. Thanks for your question. All right, let's see here. We have our Facebook Keto Lab IF, and let's just see if there's any good questions. No, I'm just kidding. Let's see. Yes, keto would be better for our military. I think there's a lot of military that are doing keto.
You should see the special forces cafeterias. Like, so, special operations, they have, when you're talking about like, oh, it's only good food, you're like, oh, it's a joke. And I'm like, yeah, they got good food. But I'm like, oh, wait. Because regular Army units, they don't have good food.
That's
but
right.
when you go to the special operations, it's the best.
Really?
Prime, like,
Really?
everything.
I didn't know that.
They feed you like you would not believe.
Oh, that is so great.
It's awesome.
That was so great.
Yeah.
Well, I never made it there. I was actually in a different division.
I just went for the food.
Absolutely. There's by my house, there is a huge facility. I think it's a SEAL training. They have this building. It goes on for like miles. And I don't know what they do in there. I think it's confidential, but it's all water training, and it's in Maryland. Yeah. So I want to.
You go scuba diving? Are you a diver?
I did it once. I want to get into it, but I think I just haven't done it. Are you into it?
Yeah. There's an organization called SUDS, Service Members Undergoing Disabled Scuba Diving. Been to Cuba, Hawaii, and
nice.
the ABC Islands. Curacao.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, real amazing.
Beautiful there. Oh, that's awesome. Our military and keto and IF would be unstoppable. That would give everyone the unfair advantage. I just remember, like in basic training, just eating a lot of carbs and sugar. Let's see here. Okay, good. Mary says, thank you so much for your service. You are an incredible inspiration.
Hey, Mary, thanks. I'm only half the inspiration. You be the other half.
Oh, God. Well, this guy has a very light attitude about it, which is exactly how it's very good to survive. And the most successful people that I know are very carefree, and I guess the word for it is called insouciant, which is like not serious, because you're just gonna, it's like the people that are not so serious and solid, they're more successful. Things go right for them, So.
You know what I learned?
What?
I learned the more I was pushed out of my comfort zone, the more I grew.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's like, and once I realized that, I'm like, I was like, I better get uncomfortable all the time now.
Right.
So
Just put yourself out there. Oh, that's great. Yeah, one time I had to give a speech in front of 500 people. This is when I was serious fear of public speaking. And so I get up there, and I just completely froze, and it was the most embarrassing thing. So I decided at that point, I got to handle this. So I started doing seminars around this area, and I did 4,700 seminars in a row.
Wow. Oh, man. How do you...
Yeah.
See, I need to learn how I can schedule that many. That's what I need.
3 times a week.
Wow.
I actually put myself in a situation where I started booking seminars to all the governmental agencies. And then I go, well, why don't I just do like a series of 12?
Wow.
And so it forced me to, really, get out there. So I was like all over the place all that long.
You're talking to like NIH or anything?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
NIH, all the different agencies, FBI was there, and so that was awesome. And also, guys, I'm going to put his link down below of his website. It's chosenleadership.com, and there's some other ones as well. This is a great website that really is this amazing story, and it's incredible. It's like what you've been through, and then you're able to still be able to talk about it freely without kind of, your attitude is just so positive. It's incredible.
Yeah. Can I talk about the chosen leadership for a second?
Yes, you can.
So in the Army, we have 7 core Army values: loyalty, duty, respect, self-service, honor, integrity, and personal courage. 7 core Army values that illustrate the acronym leadership, providing purpose, direction, and motivation. That's what we learn in basic training as like a private. And so after all these bad things happen, what I had to do was just go right back to the source, what I learned, and be like, okay, this is what I need to do. This is how I'm going to adapt and overcome. And I'm going to push forward. If I'm not adhering to these values, then obviously I'm off the course. I got to get back on that course and just go tunnel vision.
Well, I have a question about that. So usually when someone has a tragic thing in their life, it's like they think it's like all over. But do you feel that if you didn't have this, that is this like, you like helping people, right? Like
Yeah.
you go around the country and you motivate people, right?
I try to.
And have you found that you just like your whole shift in purpose shifted to like helping more people? What's
I had no idea I was going to do this.
you kind of fell into it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you live through all these things, go through all these tough times, but through that struggle, though, you see people that don't make it. You have people that died.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, I was going to go to school, bioengineering, stem cell research, AFARM, Armed Forces Institute of Regenerative Medicine, what is it? Winston-Salem, yeah, Wake Forest University. There's Anthony Attella is like the head honcho running the show. So I was like, I'm gonna go to school for that. That's what I want to do. And so I had all this huge plan. But then my brother-in-law that I was so close with, he ended up dying the same day I retired. Changed everything.
Oh my God.
And then I started writing, and then I had a friend kill himself, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to focus on trying to help inspire guys instead. And then I started writing, you know, the movie American Sniper came out, and that was another motivation too. So I'm like, yeah. So it was, a lot of things helped at the same time, and can't give me a push. And now I'm here talking with the Keto Master Ninja. You better recognize and realize who you're dealing with.
You crack me up. So basically because I think you know sometimes you would never do what you're doing if certain things didn't happen, like in your life. All of a sudden, like it just push you in a direction that you would probably never in a million years think you'd be doing. You wouldn't be like driving around the country, you know, doing.
Yeah, but it's fun though. I love it.
I bet.
I got a big Sprinter van. I'm always cruising.
I saw that.
There's no stopping
That is
me.
a seriously nice mobile
And
home, right?
And it has, I'm almost done converting. I converted myself.
You did?
Everything on my own, man.
That thing is incredible.
Yeah, right?
I saw it parked out. I'm like, what the heck is that?
4-wheel drive.
Jeez. Wow. Awesome.
Thanks. Yeah.
So you go around the country though, and you talk to people, right? I mean.
Yeah. So basically, it's multi-platform. So faith-based, high schools, middle schools, colleges,
Wow.
special operations. I talked to one of the SEAL teams.
Right.
When I talk to combat forces, I always talk about guarding the heart, and that ties into scriptures and stuff like that. But you know, it's really great, and it's all about staying motivated through the tribulation, because
Right.
we're always going to have that rocky life. Bad things are always going to happen, but push forward for that legacy, because that legacy is at the end of the tunnel. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's incredible. We're going to take a call from AG, Fremont, California. Are you there?
Yes, Dr. Berg. My question is, how do you truly know if you're fat adapted? I've been on keto for the last, since September 1st, 2018. Mm-hmm. I lost about 57, 58 pounds. I'm no longer craving anything. I eat just, to keep my glucose level okay, but sometimes I don't feel like eating anything. Sometimes I eat a little bit. How do you know you're truly fat adapted?
Well, you just said it right there. You're not hungry.
Yeah.
When you're not hungry, that means your body is eating your fat, and that means you're adapted to fat as a fuel. If you can't go for more than a period of time without getting hungry, then you're not in fat adaptation. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I had one more other question. I have a daughter who has sinus problems, and we've taken her to the doctor, and she just has migraine headaches and sinus. It just bugs her. Medication doesn't really help. We've tried homeopathic stuff. It's weird that a lot of stuff is not working. What do you recommend?
So how old is your daughter?
Brain freeze. She's in high school. She's about 14.
Okay, 14. Because people usually ask these questions about themselves, but no, I'm just kidding. So she's 14, and then the next question is she doing keto or no? Should she have like a regular diet?
No, she's not doing keto. She's well, proportioned. She's not overweight. She's not underweight. It's just the sinus, it just brings her down. She's got migraine. She throws up sometimes.
And does she have it all year round, or is it seasonal?
All year round.
Yeah. So this is
not every day, but
this is usually more like a fungus that's growing, or some type of yeast that's growing in the sinuses. That's usually what it is. And you can do different remedies. It doesn't really work until the person fixes the core eating plan. A lot of people think that keto is just for overweight people. It's for everyone. A 14-year-old, if they did it now, if they did a version of this, let's say she had just 3 meals a day and just shift to keto and no snacks, what will happen is inflammation goes down. The bacteria goes down in the body. Yeast will start going down, and you'll see a lot of things clear up. So I would work on her core eating, and of course avoid milk, and because the sugar is just feeding this fungus. And then, there's remedies, nasal rinses and garlic, but you really need to change the foundation of what she's eating. Okay? All right, thanks for your call. And let me just see if there's any really good questions here versus, no, I'm just kidding. Been struggling from diabetes for a few years. Nothing made sense. Not overweight. Finally figured out it's autoimmune. Any tips would be helpful. Keto for a year. Blood sugar runs over 200. Had to start insulin now. Not sure what to do. So I'm going to give this question to you. No, I'm just kidding. So basically, you're suffering from diabetes. Well, here's the thing. Autoimmune. Autoimmune, I don't even know what you're autoimmune to, but I would honestly, these questions, like, I don't even want to give you a remedy because I want to make sure you're doing hardcore healthy keto. And it comes back to these basics, and also intermittent fasting. That's going to lower insulin, blood sugar will come down, and then you're probably going to improve your immune system too. In fact, autoimmune stuff, I always recommend long-term intermittent fasting, especially like at least once a month, do like 20 or 48 hours. But you just need to stick in the basics. Nothing, all these remedies won't really crack that problem. Anyway, I want to thank you for being on.
Dude,
I really appreciate it.
It's an honor. Fist pump it.
All right. And thanks for watching, guys. I'll put some links down below. Check out his website, and I will see you in the next video.